Hi guys, I think it's time that we go out to the shop and we talk. We are going to have a little shop talk. Hey guys, welcome to Shop Talk. What Shop Talk is where we kind of take apart the scriptures, see how they were made, who they were talking to, why they were saying it, and see how that applies to us today. I really think that it's the way I operate in my shop. I don't know how to fix something until I know its intended use. I don't know how things work unless I take them apart. So that's what we're doing with Shop Talk. And, you know, Dixie's making me a great looking pour over here. I love sitting down with a cup of coffee and reading the scriptures. I love seeing what the Lord wants to reveal to me, and I think it's just such a blessing. So let's get ready for some Shop Talk. Hey Shop Talk family, today we are going to get back into looking at a scripture that many times you've probably heard many times, but what's it mean? Do we take it for its real meaning? So it's worth looking at the Bible and seeing what context it was written in. What I love about today's is it's actually Jesus' words. It's the red letters in my Bible. And I love that. To think that you can actually hear words that Jesus said. Yes, it's been interpreted and changed into our language. But a guy, in this case, John, wrote down what he heard Jesus say. Like, wow. That is so precious to me. So, hey, if you guys would, if you haven't subscribed yet, and you think about it, hit the subscribe button if you want to. Hit a like button if you like this one. If there's something that touched you, or if you want to give me a shout out. I got a question or anything, hit the comments below. That's all on YouTube, but I know we throw it out on Facebook, and you can definitely do it there too. So, today, guys, we're in John. Now remember, that's in the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. The fourth book. John was a disciple of Jesus's, which he actually walked with Jesus. He was one of the first ones. He was there with Jesus, and Jesus loved him. And Jesus had him take care of his mom. So we're talking about a guy that poured his heart out. Sometimes I think we read the Bible and just look at it like a person trying to write a book so they can make some money. These guys are actually writing with a purpose. It's a letter. It's more of a chapter out of their lives. They want their friends to know what happened when they were hanging out with Jesus. I mean, think about that. That is so awesome. So, Jesus, he loved to talk in parables, right? We know that parables are stories, and stories have a huge impact. And there's so many meanings to that. The stories that Jesus had, that he wanted the meanings to go deeper than just, okay, do this, do that. And it always cracks me up when I just said that, but it cracks me up when I hear people say, oh, God, he just tells you to do this and do that. No, God is a relational God. He wants to be in relationship with you. Yes, he has standards, but they're good standards. Your parents had standards for you growing up, and it's good standards. Don't stick your hand in a fire. Don't touch something off a hot stove. They didn't want you to learn things the hard way, right? Well, if we live according to the way the Bible teaches us, our lives truly do go so much better. And as I've been around Christians more and more, and people that have given their lives to Christ, some of them have been in a mess just weeks ago, months ago, or years ago. But they'll tell you, my life's better now. And I love that. So let's look at one of those scriptures. You've probably heard that Satan, all he wants to do is steal, kill, and destroy. Well, where did that come from? Well, that comes from, and it's true, by the way, but it comes from John and a parable that Jesus was telling. And Jesus was describing himself as a shepherd. But let me read the verse. Now, I've talked about it a little bit. This is John 10:10. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came, this is Jesus talking, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. This wording is right in the middle of a parable, and he's explaining a parable that they didn't get, right? So, verse 7 even says, so Jesus again said to them. That means Jesus is like, I can tell you guys are just looking at me, you don't get it. So let me explain in a little greater detail. So, verse 10 though, the thief, talking about Satan. Now let's understand who Satan is. Satan is not Jesus' brother. Satan is not something that you need to feel sorry for. Satan made a choice. He rebelled against God. And that's why there's hell. God didn't intend for his creation, us, to go to hell. He made that for Satan. And Satan wants to drag as many people as he can there. So that's why this Satan, he was an angel, right? A fallen angel, the Bible tells us. We are humans. We're created in God's image. So if you look at it, God created us. We're so special. You are so special. So the angels actually are just a little lower than us because we're created in God's image. Well, that really bugged Satan. So that's why he rebelled. He's trying to take over this thing. So he doesn't care about you. All he cares about is hurting God. And the best way to hurt a parent is to hurt their kids, right? It's just horrible. So I've even heard people say that they felt sorry for him and it's unjust. Well, no, it's just. It's what he gets for making the choices he made. And he did not change his mind. He has not changed his mind. He is not as powerful as God. He's not an opposing force from God. God created him, right? And he created us in his image, so we are above Satan. Just know what we're talking about. That's why this guy is trying, this thing, is steal, kill, and destroy. And when Jesus is talking about that, he wants to steal. What's he want to steal? Well, he wants you to be impoverished. He wants you to have no joy. He wants you to have no hope, right? He wants to steal hope from you. Because if you had hope in Christ, you would give your life to Christ and you follow along in Jesus' ways. Kill. He doesn't want you to live out your life, right? He wants you to make poor decisions, to shorten your life, to put you in situations where you might not live as long as if you lived following God, right? Okay. And destroy. He wants to obliterate you, your families, anything that you might do. He wants to just wipe that out. Now, Jesus, he is referring to himself as a shepherd. If you start in chapter 10 of John and start with verse 1, he goes into this whole parable about being a shepherd. And that shepherd protects you from people that try to come steal the sheep. We're the sheep. We're his followers. He talks about how sheep, they learn their shepherd's voice. They know their shepherd's voice over somebody else's voice. And I can even see that in my dog. My dog knows my voice. He can pick me out from, honestly, probably an eighth mile away. He's got great ears. But he knows my voice. He knows the sound of my car. He knows when I'm coming home. He will know that I'm coming home before my wife knows I'm coming home because he'll hear me drive behind the house. Think about sheep. They trust this person. This person takes care of them. This person keeps them together. He fights off wolves for them. So that's our good shepherd. He protects us from those who want to harm us. And as we're in relationship, because a shepherd does life every day with the sheep, right? Our shepherd wants to do life every day with us. And the more we allow him to be a part of our life and we follow him and we are around him, we don't just put him away until the weekend comes and then go to church. The more that we're around him, the more we hear his voice, the more we recognize the things that God is doing in our life. It's so good to be grateful, so good. And we are blessed beyond the things we even recognize, right? Have you ever stopped to thank God for the meal you're going to eat? I grew up saying blessings, but if you stop and say thank you for providing this meal, sure, you had a job, sure, but think about all the things God did, the talents he's given you. so that you could have a job, so that you could buy the food, that a farmer could grow this, or a rancher could have the livestock. There's so many things that God has his hand in that we just take for granted and don't think about. All right, so back. Jesus, he's doing this parable, and remember I said in verse 7, he goes, so again, he said to them, so they are not getting it. Truly I say to you, I'm the door of the sheep. That's us, the followers of Jesus. We get to go to heaven through Jesus. All who came before me were thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. There were people trying to explain to them out of their own selfishness how to follow God, or creating their own gods, or you can tell if something's legitimate or not with God because you're safe. And there's peace that comes along with it. You may get anxious, but when you ask him and you truly continue to release yourself to him, that anxiousness actually subsides, or you know that, hey, I got enough for today and tomorrow's a different day, right? Okay. Jesus goes on and says, I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and go in and out and find pasture. There's sheep pen, there's only one door, so the shepherd can keep track of the sheep. They let them out to pasture. The sheep come back to that pen. They know that's a safe place. So they know that their shepherd's going to be watching them. Now, somebody else in that pasture may want to steal those sheep, and they will open up a gate, and a good sheep will recognize, hey, that's not the way. You're going to lead me off to steal, kill, and destroy me, right? So that's what he's talking about. So we know who the thief is. We know why he does it. But the last part of that verse people don't really bring up. And it says, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. Why don't we hear about that? So I want you, the next time you hear somebody go say that, oh, that's Satan, he just comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Yeah, but Jesus, who has power over Satan, came so we can have life, and we can have it more abundantly. And that's not just life in heaven. You know, you could be walking through, you may not be the wealthiest person, and if your view of abundance is a job with $5 million income every month, which is huge, or something like that, maybe that's not what God has for you. But I'll tell you what, when you find contentment in what you have and a peace of trusting in the Lord, knowing that next year's going to be okay, the year after that's going to be okay, I'm just going to keep being in relationship with God and keep doing what I feel God's called me to do. Now, you may be a Christian and God's given you the talent to make $5 million a month. Make $5 billion a month. There's nothing wrong with that. Just do with it what God tells you to do with it. And I'll tell you that no matter what I have, it seems like God will always use it for somebody else's good. Which seems so like unfair. But think about it over here. God's having somebody else do something for your good. It's unfair to them. So we have small-minded thinking. God is big-minded thinking. But Jesus wants us to see the difference between him and Satan with this verse. That's what he's trying to get to. Satan's purpose is to get us to hurt God, and Christ's purpose is to save us so we can know God. Two completely different things. Where do you want to be used in? Where do you want to be associated with? Because there's no middle ground. There's no following one and not the other. Because if Satan can get you just to ignore God, he has you. It's like going out on a basketball court during a game. You're on one of the teams. Otherwise, you're going to get chased off the court by the referee, right? So, love you guys. And I hope that this made sense in a way that is a little bit life-changing, that, yes, you have an enemy, but you have a God that's bigger. Yes, There's going to be a lot of distractions in life. Just think about a pasture, and you have rustlers hanging over the edge, and they're trying to wave you over so that they can pull up the fence and you can go running out. And they'll snag you, and it won't be good. They'll keep you from your Savior, the Good Shepherd, at the pit. And this little tidbit, I remember grew up in a rural setting. There was cows across the street. One time there were sheep across the street. The farmers were just starting to get into sheep. I don't know if they still are or not, but they're a whole different thing because you shear them and you sell off their fur. Cows, you raise them and you sell them. But sheep, when they grow their fur out, the electric fence around sheep is a lot hotter than it is for pigs and cows. Pigs and cows will feel it. They'll know they shouldn't go past that. But a sheep, because they have such thick wool, so it just kind of made me think of we're the sheep. And sometimes we can be so stubborn-headed that even if something is trying to be a warning to us, we'll just plow right past it and ignore it. So if you're ever around an electric fence that's around a bunch of sheep in a pasture, don't touch it. Don't. But I did like the concept of, man, if we're sheep and we need to be shorn, cleaned up, man, you hit that electric fence when you're just so full, you may not even know it. They may just dive underneath it, right? And then they're in danger. So let the Lord keep you trimmed up. Like, let the Lord touch your life in such a way and be a good shepherd who, when that fur comes on, they would cut the fur at the right times. Let the shepherd continue to chip away at your life so you can hear him better and better, and you won't be deceived by somebody who doesn't care about you. So, guys, I love you. I love that we're on this journey together. And as we walk through this next week, when you hear, or if you hear somebody talking about that, the Satan, he just comes to steal, kill, destroy, think about, oh yeah, and Jesus came that I can have life and life abundantly. Make sure you add that part in. Otherwise, we're just talking about Satan. I don't give him any glory, right? He is just not out for good. Understand it? Close the door on that chapter. People that follow Satan, a lot of times they're following themselves. They're more like, don't tell me what to do. I'm glad my parents told me what to do. I'm glad they told me not to touch hot things. I'm glad they told me to wear a helmet when I rode the motorcycle because it worked out pretty good. But they had good ideas, even if I didn't think it was. Same with the Lord. And we get to see it right here. We get to read words written down that were said right out of the mouth of Jesus. Love you guys. Take that with you this week, and hope you have a great week. Bless you now. Bye.